It was a stormy night, the wind howling through
the trees like a ghostly lament. As I settled in for a night of solitude, an uneasy feeling settled in the pit of my stomach. The flickering lights cast erratic shadows on the walls, and the rhythmic tap of rain against the window pane created an unsettling soundtrack. I tried to shake off the nerves by convincing myself that being home alone was
nothing more than an opportunity for a quiet
night of relaxation. The hours ticked by, and the storm outside intensified. The house seemed to come alive with mysterious,
sounded floorboards groaning,
the wind whistling through unseen gaps, and the occasional thump that made my heart skip a beat.
I dismissed each noise as a product of my
overactive imagination, but the unease lingered.
As I settled on the couch with a book, a sudden power outage plunged the house into darkness. I fumbled for my phone, using its weak glow to
navigate through the inky blackness. The storm outside roared louder, and the silence within the house became oppressive.
I made my way to the kitchen, hoping to find a flashlight, but the darkness
seemed to press against me, making the familiar
space feel like a labyrinth. That's when I heard a faint sound of footsteps on the creaky floor above me. My breath caught in my throat, and I strained to listen.
Must be my imagination, I muttered to reassure myself. But then the footsteps continued, deliberate and distinct. Panic set in, and I clutched my phone, ready to
dial for help.
The storm outside seemed to mask the approaching danger, the wind howling in harmony with the growing dread in my chest. Summoning courage, I crept up the stairs, the
floorboards protesting beneath my weight.
The hallway stretched before me, each closed door a potential hiding place for the unknown intruder.
I felt a cold draft, and a door at the end of the corridor swung open, revealing a room that I knew I hadn't entered.
Heart pounding, I approached the room and
hesitated before crossing the threshold.
The air inside was stagnant, and an unsettling
stillness filled the space. My eyes darted around, searching for any sign of
movement. I stumbled backward, my breath catching in my
throat.
Suddenly, a shadowy figure emerged from darkness, a silhouette that seemed to defy the absence of light. The figure remained still, and in the dim glow of my phone, I saw its face, a pale mask that bore no expression.
As I fumbled for words, the figure raised a
finger to its lips in a haunting gesture of silence. Without uttering a sound, it retreated into the darkness of the room, leaving me standing there, paralyzed with fear. The storm outside began to subside, and the power flickered back on, banishing the shadows that had plagued the house. Trembling, I stumbled downstairs, desperate to escape the oppressive atmosphere.
When my parents returned, I hesitated to share the chilling encounter, fearing they would dismiss it as the product of
an overactive imagination.
But as I lay in bed that night, the memory of the masked figure haunted my dreams, a lingering reminder that, in the solitude of a home,
shadows could come to life, and the line between
reality and nightmare could blur into a chilling
dance of the unknown. Alone in my dimly lit apartment, I could feel the weight of solitude settling in with every passing minute. The city outside was alive with distant sounds, but within the confines of my home, an eerie
stillness prevailed.
It was the kind of quiet that made ordinary creaks and groans seem like ominous whispers.
As I settled into the couch with a book, the sudden realization that I was the only one within these walls sent a chill down my spine.
The street lamp outside cast long, distorted shadows on the walls,
and the occasional flicker of a dying light bulb added to the uneasy ambience.
I tried to lose myself in the pages of my book, but the sensation of being watched lingered in the back of my mind.
Every rustle of the wind outside, every settling
creak within, became a source of unease.
My gaze darted nervously around the room, and I
couldn't shake the feeling that someone or
something shared the space with me. As the night deepened, a sense of isolation settled like a heavy fog. I decided to take refuge in the comforting glow
of the television, hoping its mindless chatter
would drown out the creeping unease.
The channel flickered to life, casting a pale glow across the room. But then, with an abrupt jolt, the screen went
black. I sighed, annoyed by the inconvenience, and
reached for the remote.
Just as I pressed the power button, a soft,
Distant whisper cut through the silence.
my breath caught in my throat as I strained to listen.
It was a voice, low and indistinct, as if carried by the wind from some hidden corner of my apartment.
Heart pounding, I crept through the darkened rooms, my senses on high alert.
The whispering persisted, growing clearer yet.
Still maddeningly vague.
It seemed to beckon from the farthest corners of the apartment, a ghostly invitation to uncover its source.
As I approached the bedroom, the whispering
Reached a fever pitch.
The door to the bedroom stood slightly ajar, and
The voice emanated from within.
with trembling hands, I pushed the door open, revealing the pitch-black room.
The whispering intensified, now a chorus of
Hushed voices that seemed to echo in the
confined space. Panic clawed at my throat as I fumbled for the light switch. When the room flooded with light, the whispering ceased. But the residual feeling of an otherworldly presence lingered, leaving me to question the
boundaries between reality and imagination.
The rest of the night passed without incident, but the memory of the mysterious whispers
Haunted my dreams. Even as daylight broke through the curtains, I
couldn't shake the feeling that, in the silence,
of a home unseen forces could awaken,
revealing a world of shadows that thrived in the
absence of company.